Hello, my name is Jorrit Schulte for AE Tats Plus, and this is what we are going to create. Okay, kind of stop motion video. Of course, we are going to fake it instead of putting all the work into it. Now, this is inspired by a Captain Disillusion video, which basically where he explains the concept of procedural animation to be able to do a candle video, stop motion video, without actually doing all of the work. And people didn't quite grasp the concept, so here it is.
I offer you this. A way to make any candle animation you want without having to spend weeks altering individual frames. The secret is procedural animation. Instead of linearly animating one candle at a time, I took the same shot of unlit candles and laid the shot of lit candles, split into 320 individual circles, on top of it. I then linked them up to a separate composition where black and white shapes could be animated easily with keyframes. A little math expression then checks each corresponding point in the field to see if it's black or white and hides or reveals the lit candle circles in the main composition accordingly.
So, the first thing we're going to do is just drag the background just into a new composition, which will just create a composition in the correct size. And let's change the name just to Final or something like that. So first of all, we're going to add the candles, and simple way we're just going to add. I just have a file for that, of course. Let's lock the background so we can move it, and we're gonna need a lot of candles. So we're just going to scale this down first of all. Obviously, just gonna do about 12%. I'm just gonna move that in position. Now the angles won't quite work out, but that'll be okay. So now we need to duplicate this many times. How we're gonna do that is very simple. Just select one, hit Ctrl or Apple D, and it will create a second one. Then we hold down Shift and just move it 3 times to the side. That way it will have a correct amount of space between them. So now I'm gonna select those two, duplicate it again, and we're gonna move them like this. When we can do select, we can just do Ctrl A, select everything, and because the background is locked, it won't select that as well. So let's just duplicate it again, Ctrl D, move it up, and just drag them to the side. Do the same thing again, Ctrl A, Ctrl D, move it to the top, and we're going to just move this with your keyboard. There we go. And just keep doing this until you got like about 25, I would say. So we got a little too many, but we can just delete those by hand. There we go, and just delete all the extra ones. We need 25. We got way too many. So we just delete a couple of fellas here. So we got 26 right now. Just remove one more. There we go. And let's do the same thing again. Let's move this first of all to the top for just so the first one is on top. This is the one we're going to work on a little bit later. So select every one of these, duplicate them, move them to the bottom. Actually, let's go scroll down and move these to the bottom. And let's do the same thing. Duplicate them again, move them to the bottom. You don't have to bother to do that. In fact, I'm just going to like this. There we go. Just keep duplicating these things. There we go. So we got quite some candles, and we don't. This is not handy to work with these all in the same composition. So we're just going to select everything except for the very first one. This one right here. Just gonna move down, select the rest, and just hit the shy layer here, and then the shy button right there. So we won't see them in the composition. Good. So now we need to make just kind of the look all the same, which is not very realistic. So just to make it a little bit more convincing, we're just going to change some of those to other candles, and actually have two more files that enable me to do so. So we need to select random layers, and the way we are going to do that, let's just unshy them for now. We're going to use a script by Lloyd Alvarez, and let's just show that to you right here. Just a random layer selector, very simple script, very handy. Just select random layers, obviously. So we're going to let's go to back to After Effects. It's quite nasty. Okay, there we go. So we need to select the composition, like so, and we're just going to go to File, Scripts, Random Layer Selector. Right. So 4 is the least, and 1 for the most. So we're gonna hit 2 for now. Just hit OK. And you're going to select randomly some layers. Shoot, it doesn't. Let's do that one more time. Actually, let's select none of these layers. File, Scripts, Random Layer Selector, to OK. There we go. So we had some random layers selected. We're going to drag number 2, hit Shift, Alt, and just let go with the mouse. And that way, those selected layers will now be the second one, which is a little bit different. Still looks kind of all the same, so we're going to do it one more time. Let's select none of these layers. We have File, Scripts, Random Layer Selector, and let's go 3 this time, a little less. And it's gonna select some random layers, which will now the same thing, but only at number 3. Hit Alt and let go of your mouse while you hover over one of the selected layers, which will replace it, and now it looks a bit better. Still can see quite some repetition, but it's fine for our purposes. So now what we need to do is we need to make another layer, a matte as it were, so the candles know when to go on and when to stay off. So we're going to create a new composition. Now we have 25 by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 candles. Hit Ctrl N for new layer, new composition, and we need to actually these are correct, but just to show you what I did there, just hit 25 by 15, and those are the candles, of course, width and then height. And then we're gonna do the lock. I'm just gonna add more pixels so we can actually work with something there. So we get 800 by 480, which is the same ratio. Hit OK. We have this new layer, and now we can add anything we want in here. For example, let's just add a new layer, new solid right there, and let's do a circle effect. And let's just animate this from 0. Hit the keyframes right there, just move along a little bit and set this so it fills the screen. And then we got a little animation, maybe do a radio wipe after that. Let's see when it's filled. It's just going to wipe the thing clean again. Just like that. Now, the thing, sometimes this doesn't quite work, because when we overlay this, it's kind of going to cover some of the candles, and we don't want that. So what we're going to do is just add a new adjustment layer for any layers that might be below this. I'm just going to add a mosaic effect. And what that does, it just creates little squares. So we're going to do little blocks, as it were, just averages the colors and including the alpha, which is what we need. And what we're going to do is just add 25 by 15, which is of course the amount of candles in horizontal and in the vertical dimensions as well. And what we're going to do then is add a levels effect. Let's apply it to them. We're going to go to the alpha, and we're going to set the alpha gamma to 0. So that way we don't have opaque blocks. And this is a little better than sharp colors because it has the tendency to go still leave some have opaque things, and also just tends to not quite work as we would like it. So therefore we're going to use levels, which is just a little better. Alright, now we have this, and what we then do is just go into the final comp. This is the math, pre-math rather. It's going to apply it. Let's shy all these layers, and now it doesn't quite fill the other candles here, so we're going to just add a corner pin, and then roughly make it so it covers all the candles. And then set the set the quality to the draft, just like that. That's why we won't have opaque pixels, just to be sure. So we are going to pre-compose this again. So let's do layer pre-compose. We're gonna set move our attributes, and we're gonna say just matte. This is going to be the matte. Alright, there we go. Make sure it moves our attributes, quite important. It will take a little while because there we go. And now we have this matte. Now, well, what we need to tell these candles is to go on when they are overlaid by this white, by the white matte. So how we're going to do that is quite simple. We're just going to add an expression, as Captain Disillusion called this procedural animation. What we're going to do is add to each of these candles an effect called calculation. But for now, let's focus in. Oops. Let's focus in on that first candle. This one right here. So let's add calculation to that. So what you can do with calculation is you can select a second layer, which we can change the opacity of. So we're going to import the lit candle in the scene, shut it off because we don't want to see it, and we're going to set for the candle, for the unlit candle in calculations, the second layer to lit. And this way we can change the opacity on and off for the lit candle. So what we're going to do is just Alt and click, and we're going to add an expression so it goes automatically when the matte covers the candle. So first of all, we need to tell the expression what layer to look at, and of course that is the matte. So we're going to matte dot, and now we're going to give it a command, which is we're going to go right here to layer general and to sample image. So basically this looks at the layer in colors, including the alpha, which is exactly what we want. So we don't need all this. Let's just remove that. And we need to point, we need to change that to the position. So basically it's gonna look at the position of the candle, and if that is filled with white, then it will turn on. But of course we need to clarify that we need the alpha channel, so we're gonna do that. We're gonna add brackets, and we're just gonna type 3 in it. 3 means alpha, 0 being red, 1 green, 2 blue, and then we're gonna 3, which is the alpha channel of the matte. So right now, when it's covered, I'm just gonna check when it's covered. at this point right here discovered. So now the second layer opacity is 1, because it obviously is for 0 to run in float. So the very simple way to fix that is just go times, let's see, times 100. This way it is on whenever it's covered by the layer. So let's see, actually let's just first make it a little bit more nice looking by adding a drop shadow. Let's just set the right there. We're gonna add a drop shadow. Let's move it out a little bit more, and let's make this a little bit more soft. Just like that. So what we're going to do is select those two effects. Let's go edit, copy. Then we're gonna unshy these layers and select all those shy layers. And go edit, paste. It'll take a little while to do, but after that all the candles will have the same effect applied to them, and they all will work together, so they will go on when the mat is covering them. There we go. Wait for them to render. Let's put this to F. And there we go. Yeah, let's give this a quick pre. So there we go. Oops, let's just. There we go. Now the great thing about this is that we can just go into the mat and change whatever we want, and it will actually change the final composition. So for example, if we go into the mat, the pre-mat that is, and we add a text layer, for example AE, going to place that there, and in this case we don't want it to be above the below the adjustment layer, because it becomes quite unreadable and quite it doesn't look quite right. There are pieces missing. So for some things, in fact most things, it's better to just do it above the adjustment layer so it won't get warped. And I deliberately chose a kind of digital looking font, so it kind of looks better and makes sense in the final comp. So just let's animate that real quick like this. See when the other animation stops, just edit just keyframe the position right there. So it moves, and let's go right here to the final comp. And we actually be able to see it changing, and we just have a great AE right there. Now at this point what you can do is just add some more realism. Maybe you can try and give a little wiggle to these candles, and also you can do something by someone called Juan Duque or something. I'm sure I mispronounced that, but he has a great tutorial on kind of making the footage look crappy, kind of looking with a little shake and some changing light, so it looks a little better, kind of more realistic stop motion, gives a stop motion feel to it. So basically that's it. I hope you like this. My name is Jorrit Schulte for AE Task Plus, and I will see you next time.